So I would like to make another podcast channel called Where is My Co-host? Welcome back to the Two Guys in a Rock podcast, and as you might know, Jerome's not here yet. Here anymore, not anymore, but for this episode. And yes, you have read the title. Where's Jerome? Well, here's a few things. He has parent management. He has to deal with something in his life, or yeah, he has a life too. I know he can't come here every week for a podcast, but I have a backup plan. I made a new podcast channel, but it's just me. I will announce at the end of the episode or the video, and let's get straight into it. We're gonna talk a little bit slowly today. I got a list of topics for us to talk about. Episode 2 title: What will we do this summer? Two Guys in a Rock, Episode 2. What inspired this podcast? World Cup plans, summer plans, life throughout the Philippines, the Lunch Table podcast, free Robux scams, and podcast struggles. So I would like to start with the podcast struggles because I've been working on my second podcast channel for the past hour. I've been working on the intro, the profile picture, the podcast banner, the name. I've been also working on the podcast outro. Here's the thing. Every time I make podcast intros or outros or names, the hardest part is finding the podcast intro and outro, because you have to go through CapCut and stuff. You have to type podcast intros. Trust me, it's not easy. I searched for a lot of podcast intros. I want rock related intros or modern podcast intro styles or themes. The one I keep getting is the aesthetic podcast intros, which is the girly pink background, the aesthetic vibe, the lo-fi vibe, where there's a Hello Kitty, a camera in the background, a teddy bear, a pink bow tie. I am not up for that theme. I don't know if CapCut is saying that I look like a girl, but I don't. I don't know if you guys think I look like a girl because of my hairstyle. I don't know, but these are my podcast struggles. And don't forget, the other podcast struggle is for my co-host to get over here, which is not here today. And I'm filming this on a Tuesday. Yes, I know episode 2 was supposed to release on Sunday, but I got a little bit late. And I heard that the Lunch Table podcast Father's Day podcast episode is out. So go check on their channel about the Father's Day episode. I was supposed to put my father on the podcast too, but he has work. He's on call. If you don't know what on call is, you have duty during the weekends. Anyways, let's move on to our next topic, which is the summer plans. My summer plans will be just sleeping, making podcasts, playing Roblox, play beach buggy racing, the racing game. And I think just stay home because we have nothing to do. We can't even go outside because everyone's busy in the house. And that's what I all gotta do in this house. And we don't go out much often, but we go out sometimes on a Friday. We buy food, get groceries. We also I think that's probably it, what we're doing. And by the way, this podcast will last 30 minutes, just like the last episode. And we have a new intro on the Two Guys in a Rock podcast because our last episode got copyrighted by YouTube. And the reason why it got copyrighted because the podcast is rushed. I had like 1 day to make the podcast. The podcast is rushed. I have to use a copyright sound. You know me, I'm just a regular human being. I can't do things that fast. Next, we have World Cup plans. I know the World Cup is going right now. I think the last match was Portugal versus... I forgot the other country. Anyways, I know Portugal won. But the thing is, I'm not into the World Cup. I do watch it sometimes. when I just started to gaze off or daze off reality, like I'm starting to stare at the TV, like, oh, what are they? How are they gonna win? Who is gonna win? I watch people playing soccer, football. I don't know, both of them. I don't know. I watch people play football, aka soccer. I mean, I know football is not soccer, but it's the nickname for soccer. I'm not interested in the World Cup, but I do watch it when I am bored, and I don't really watch the World Cup that much in World Cup season. The World Cup is playing right now on my TV, and yeah, I'm not a World Cup person. Please don't hate me for that. We all have opinions. And next, we're gonna move on to what inspired this podcast. Let me get a drink of water real quick. My throat is dry from all that speaking. Anyways, let's move on to the next topic. What inspired this podcast? So, what inspired this podcast, the Two Guys in the Rock podcast, was from the Lunch Table podcast. Not the one that has a milk carton with a yellow a sign that says the Lunch Table podcast. It's a different podcast. It's from TFG Vlogs, and you guys might have noticed that he commented on my first episode. He said something like, "Can't wait to see you boys grow." Talking about boys, you mean you, because can't wait to see you grow makes some more sense because Jerome's not even here, and he might not even be here in future episodes of Two Guys in the Rock. But I am gonna make another podcast channel of where it's just me, no Jerome, just peaceful talking. Enjoy, grab your snacks, relax, or coffee. Um, Anything you want to do, just do that while doing the podcast. And you don't have to watch the podcast all the time, by the way. You can watch the podcast the time you're interested in, like showering, driving to somewhere, or I don't know. And I want to talk about free Robux scams. So, a few days ago, maybe 3 days ago, I was on YouTube. I was searching up something like free Robux, Android mods, APK. I know it's a virus, but not all sites or mods have a virus. They're all safe. Not all are safe. Um, I guarantee some are safe. But I tried this one Roblox APK mod one day. It's a APK mod, not a free Robux website. It's just a APK mod. I tried to get the APK mod. I searched for the APK mod on YouTube. Nothing worked. These content creators, they are just clickbaiting people just for views. They are posting something on the thumbnail like free Robux tutorial 2026 APK mod. And I clicked on the video. I was like, "Where's the mod? Where's the link?" I checked the comments, the description. I checked every video. There was nothing. Then there's only one choice I had to do. Free Robux video. A free Robux video. And then every time we start the video, we gotta do the British accent. How to get free Robux 2026 working. I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to mock accents, but I'm just describing what the video is saying and what these videos are like. Because if the videos make fun of me, I make fun of them, the videos, because I hate when they scam me in the video, like, and then, oh, it was clickbait, it's not working, which is very annoying. Like, for example, you click this free Roblox video, free Robux video. You click the link, it sends you to a free Robux website. It says something like, type your username. I type my username. It sends me the Robux. Pick what Robux you like. 1 million Robux, 10 million Robux, or 10,000 Robux. I pick the highest thing, and then it sends me to a verification website, which is the pretty most annoying antagonist in the free Robux website thingy, because you gotta do these tasks like win a new iPhone 17, or win a free Visa card, which is pretty annoying, and I hate when that happens. And spoiler alert, I didn't end up getting the Robux because I thought I would get the iPhone 17, and my dad will be like, "Son, what is this iPhone 17 doing in the house?" That's why I never clicked any of the links, but it's not gonna give you an iPhone 17. It's just gonna scam you instead. But I never clicked any of those offers because I'm not interested in doing that, and it's gonna ask me for another sign-in method, like your email, your phone number, your address, which is I don't know what to do. But since I have my own phone and my own email account, my own Google account, I can now do the thing. But I don't know the address. That's the thing. And then these comments, they are just saying, "Oh, it's working! It's working! Cool, bro. Cool, dude. Free Robux. Thank you." And I was like, what? I don't know how these free Robux tutorials are working for them. Maybe they're just bots, or I am just... I don't know. I don't know if it's working for them or I'm just doing something wrong. And I want to get straight what these free Robux live streams. I want to be straight with you guys. These free Robux live streams are scams. I see them on YouTube everywhere. Free Robux giveaway. And then they're searching these usernames up, like, to give them free Robux. And there's that one dude that's saying, "Like and subscribe the video, and join my Roblox group for free Robux." And then it turns out it's not gonna work because, spoiler alert, they're not gonna end up giving you Robux because it's a past live stream. It's an old live stream from the past, like 6 months ago. And they're reusing the live stream in the present live stream. If you guys don't understand what I'm saying, here's some proof. This Robux giveaway YouTuber, he is spamming a username. In I think the live stream chat. He's like, "My username is Scary Pumpkin 2019. My username is Minecraft Skeleton 57." And then the live streamer, this is what he's doing instead. And he's typing random usernames the chat didn't even recommend it, or didn't even, the live streamer is just typing Scarlet Girl 2018. I am getting pretty annoyed. I was typing my username like, huh? This is not the username mentioned in the live chat. And I finally figured out what's happening. The live streamer is using a live stream in the past and broadcasting the live stream from the past into the new one. And I was like, oh, I finally realized what's going on. He is using old live stream. I warned the chat, "Guys, this live stream is fake. He is using an old one." And then they keep spamming usernames in the chat, ignoring my warning, which is pretty absurd. And I don't know how are they even falling for it. I don't know how they don't see my message. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or they're doing something wrong. Anyways, let's move on to the next topic. The Lunch Table Podcast. So if you don't know what the Lunch Table Podcast is, and yes, I'm not talking about the yellow carton with the yellow text in the middle. I'm talking about the TFG Vlogs one. They have about 34 episodes so far, or maybe 33. Yeah, I think 34 because 34 was the latest Father's Day episode. And they are the ones who inspired this podcast. And if you ever heard of the Lunch Table Podcast, please subscribe to them now. I want to help content creators grow their channel. Unlike me, I'm not even growing this podcast channel, and I'm going to start a new one later on. And a new episode of my new podcast is going to release this Saturday at the weekend, or this Sunday on the weekend. And now let's do life throughout the Philippines. I'm not complaining about the Philippines. It's a great country. It's a good country. I like the food. I like the fast food chains, and I like my family over there, especially the cats and dogs, the uncles, the aunties, the grandmas, the grandpas. And I would like to say one thing that's hard about living the life in the Philippines: the school. I'm not saying the school is bad. I'm just sharing my opinion. There's these hard math questions. Tagalog, which is I understand, but also don't understand at the same time. I know some languages, I don't know some words about them. And then, if you're a Filipino fan, shout out to my Filipino fans out there. What's also hard is the tasks. Um, you have to wash dishes as a little child. You can drive cars as a little child unless you got a license. You have to wash clothes without a dishwasher and a washing machine. I mean, and then trust me, they use slippers as weapons. You go home from school late. You're you're dead in an exaggerating way. They pull out a slipper from their foot. They throw it out. They throw it out. They throw it at you, and then you get hit in the shoulder when you arrive home from school late. You know your parents. They scold you sometimes just to make you learn or something. I don't know, but all I want to know that I might have experienced that a couple times. Not the slipper stuff, but I did experience the school, the chores, and trust me, there's flying cockroaches and cockroaches there. And for the last time, I'm not trying to roast the Philippines. I love that country, but I'm just saying my opinions about it. It is a good country, but the thing is, I don't like the flying cockroaches and the cockroaches and stuff. And then one family member walks up saying, "It's so easy, just do this." They grab a slipper. They ended up killing the flying cockroach. I was like, "What? How are you doing this? How are you not scared?" And then they said, and they have, I don't know if they have some sort of like strong ability or something. I don't know if they trained to do this, but here's one thing I hate: circumcision. I didn't get circumcised as a baby. I'm just doing this for anatomy reasons. I'm not doing this for any weird reasons, just for anatomy reasons. I wasn't circumcised as a baby. I am circumcised now, just I was circumcised late. I believe I was circumcised last year, and no worries, I'm 12. I'm not old or something. Don't hate on me for doing this. The reason why I hate circumcision is because it hurts. It doesn't hurt, but it will hurt later on as soon as the anesthesia washes off. They have to use scissors. Some of them have to use butcher knives, which luckily it didn't happen to me. But I had this. I took the scissors. The scissors is less painful because there's anesthesia, of course. But the recovery, oh, it hurts. Washing it is the worst part. I do wash it, but I have no choice. But I have to. And when I wash it, I was screaming, ripping through the brush fire of the Amazon. I was like, ah, it hurts, it hurts. It's like two bees stinging you at the part where you get circumcised. And for the last time, it hurts. And I'm so lucky I'm not gonna experience it again because I already did it. And in my trenches in those days, I had to wait for 6 weeks of recovery, and I was in the trenches fighting for my life out there. Yeah. Circumcision, I hate circumcision. But since I got done with it, I guess I'm not gonna experience it anymore, which I'm happy about it. And I probably hate the washing part. Anyways, I think that is all our plans for this episode. And now for the last 10 minutes or 12 minutes, I am gonna explain some things about the new podcast or the new podcast channel I'm making. Oh, and speaking of the last 10 minutes, I guess I'm gonna do a jokes on the rock. I think. I don't know if I'm gonna do any jokes on the rock. I barely got any ideas. So, I got a joke on the rock. Yeah, I think I don't have a joke on the rock because you know me, I can't come up with any new ideas, and I can barely think of any new ideas. Actually, let me ask ChatGPT over here. Give me hold on, let me request my permission. Give me a jokes on the rock suggestion for my Two Guys on the Rock podcast. I can't think of any ideas. Rock joke of the day. Jerome says, "Why did The Rock start a podcast?" I said, "Why?" Jerome said, "Because it had a lot of solid opinions." That wasn't funny. That wasn't funny. Here's another one. Why was The Rock so calm? Because nothing could rattle it. Which is not funny. Why don't Rock tell secrets? Because they might crack under pressure. Still not funny for me. Like I said, I can barely think of any two guys on the rock jokes, or even jokes on the rock. I don't know. I can't even find a funny clip from social media. But anyways, for the last 5 or 10 minutes, I'm gonna talk about the new podcast. So if you guys don't know, Jerome won't be here every other week now because of parent management and his life and stuff. I'm not saying he's having a hard time. He's just focusing a lot of stuff like taking care of his grandparents, his personal hygiene, maybe his school or stuff, and his maybe with more friends. I don't know. And there might be more stuff he's facing and he's doing. So I would like to make another podcast channel called "Where Is My Co-Host?" Because "Where Is My Co-Host" is good because Jerome's not gonna be here every other week, and the "Where Is My Co-Host" podcast might be actually a catchy title because yeah, I have no co-host for a couple weeks, or maybe when Jerome comes here again, maybe I could post another podcast episode with him. And yeah, maybe next week I might post another episode of Two Guys on the Rock if Jerome comes here. And next week I might post my first episode of Where Is My Co-Host. So maybe I will leave the link in the description or in the comments to my second podcast channel called Where Is My Co-Host podcast. I already set up the channel name, the intro, the outro, the podcast area. I'll give you guys a quick preview of what my podcast channel is gonna look like. It's gonna look something like this. My gosh, how do I exit this thing? It's gonna look something like this banner or this profile picture. Right now it's inverted, but as you can see, playlist Where Is My Co-Host podcast. And thanks to Jerome missing, I would have never thought of this idea ever since, because when my dad said, okay, Jerome has a life, he can't come here every week. He and I'm about to tell this on the podcast, which will be very embarrassing. He scolded me. Embarrassing for me because everyone's gonna think I'm a little baby. Anyways, I made this podcast because of Jerome missing, and since Jerome cannot come here every other week, I'm starting to panic. How am I gonna continue this podcast? And then I thought of that idea. Ding! ChatGPT comes rolling in, clutching, and guess what he gave me? Where Is My Co-Host podcast? And by the way, my channel name will be GFA Podcast Studio. Don't mind my face over there. It's it's really weird. And then it's a Two Guys on a Rock spin-off. And it's also called Where Is My Co-Host, which is the main podcast on that channel. And yes, that is the official Two Guys on a Rock spin-off. Why am I calling it a spin-off? It's a continuation, but with like a different idea, different topics, different podcast title. And yes, I did that because Jerome is not gonna be here for another couple weeks. And actually, yeah, that's actually a good idea. But I'm gonna talk on the microphone for 30 straight minutes. My voice will be tired. I'm already starting to cough. My throat is starting to dry out. And we have reached like 24 minutes of this podcast already. We're supposed to reach for 30 minutes, but I can't reach 30 minutes because my voice is starting to give up. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode for this week. Next week, the new Two Guys in a Rock episode is coming, or the first ever Where Is My Co-Host podcast episode. And I got the intro, outro ready. And if you want to support my new podcast channel or this podcast channel, please like and subscribe. And always remember to like and subscribe and support TFG Vlogs is the Lunch Table podcast. I want like I said, I want to help content creators grow their channel. So if you ever see the Lunch Table podcast with Brandon and Abby, go ahead and subscribe or like to them. Or when you see me, go like and subscribe to my channel. You have an option. Maybe you can't, maybe you can. It's fine. You don't need to subscribe. We're a low budget podcast anyway. And I'll see you guys on the next episode. Or the first episode of Where is My Co-Host podcast. Have safe. Be safe. Have a nice day, and I'll see you on the first ever Where's My Co-Host podcast episode.